Hey, what's going on, kids? Freaking
Hey, there's
happy Monday.
Jenna.
Hey, Miss Jenna. Good seeing you.
Good
Hey,
morning.
Peyton, can we go back to that image of everybody on the show and tell me what's going on with Jenna's hair?
So last night I was like, okay, let's update the graphics and everything, and I realized, oh shit, everything got wiped off of Canva.
Can you show us that graphic real quick?
I don't have it on its. Well, maybe I do, but I can't get it up right now.
Well, while he's pulling that up, it was pretty fascinating. The Detroit Lions win in overtime. Dallas Cowboys almost kick a 71-yard field goal.
Oh,
They
that
did
was
make the
crazy.
66-yard
66.
field goal. No other teams we give a shit about. And I ate a healthy breakfast, which means I ate 2 bowls of yogurt because one just didn't fill me up, so I made a second. So that's healthy, right? Right?
That's healthy, yeah.
Doubling up.
Sure.
There you go.
What isn't Jenna's hair?
That's not
Is that
Jenna.
a bird's nest?
Generic.
It looks like a messy bun.
She's got chopsticks in there.
Yeah.
What?
You want to know? Funny.
I get you
There's
didn't have time to
actually
put
a
her image
backstory.
in there, but could you find a blackout picture that looks a little bit more like her?
Backstory of how we got there. Actually, this was early in SCN. That's actually Donnie.
And Bernie looks like some dude from a sitcom.
I was just gonna say I never noticed Birdie's weird looking face in that one.
Thanks, Stevie.
She said weird looking face. I was all hung up. That's what I look like with my hat on.
Face.
Like Bernie,
That's me. Like, what the fuck?
Bernie is either really pissed off or he's really constipated. One of the
Or
two.
he's like having a
I mean,
stroke.
wouldn't you be pissed off if you were constipated?
He needs a rose in his mouth or something. He's like one of those French villains.
He's petting a
Not like
cat.
3 chins on one side. I don't know.
Hey, leave Keith out of this with the 3 chins. Jeez.
Oh Jesus!
Good morning, Jenna. Aren't you happy you walked in the room?
I'm actually, I know I'm in the right place. Like this is, these are my people. This is great. You got to be able to make fun of yourself. I was going to say that you look extremely concentrated, Bernie. Like you looked like you were concentrating real hard on something. So
I was, yeah.
You misspelled constipated. Jenna.
Constipated is the keyword. It was just different.
Wait, Bernie, you just look fucked up.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Love you too.
And if you want to know what I look like without a hat, that's the silhouette background. That's,
Right. He
it's
wears
it's just
that
man bun up here. Yeah.
Right.
every day. Every day.
That's what it used to be. He used to
If
have
you've seen
the
him without
man
a hat, you know there's no hair to do a man bun back there.
Hey, there are
true.
pictures. Once upon a time, I did pull it off.
Yeah, that was
right before the summit last year.
That
If
was
you look
your
carefully
fat boy era.
at that picture of me in that picture, I've actually got a mullet.
oh.
No.
It's more of a skullet. It's more of a skullet. Let's be honest. Keith, you
It took me
just
3 years to grow it that long, and part of it is glued in there.
I was gonna say, you took some out of your ears and your nose and glued it to the back of your neck, didn't you?
But Keith also has a beard too, because you know how gingers are. I mean,
No
they have
souls.
no soul. Elizabeth reminds me all the time that the freckles on her arms are the soul she's taken from being a ginger. One for each soul. So,
He's got
That's the
a
hard
lot
part
of
about
freckles.
being a ginger. Is, like people ask me all the time, like, dude, you have no eyebrows. I'm like, I promise you, they're there. It's just,
he pencils them on every morning.
I need some Maybelline or something to darken them up.
I got you.
Like I literally shaved my eyebrows one day. And nobody noticed.
He literally does his eyebrows in Nair. I don't know what it's about, but the Nair really helps him out. Fill it in.
It gives it that sheen.
I borrowed the leftover Nair that Donnie uses for that spot, right?
Yeah, it is. I'm telling you, it's why I'm going Jewish so I can get a yarmulke to cover that bald spot up. We're going all in. So
We just lost that part of the audience.
Oh, holy hell. Peyton, get us out of trouble and roll that down.
Absolutely. I will do that. All right. This morning's game show, we're playing Photoshop trolls. Do they ever get what they asked for when they ask the internet for help?
I
Do
so
they
want to
ever?
do this. I so want to do this. I want to put a picture up and say, "Hey, can you remove so and so out of the picture?" Or
Oh my
Can you
God.
remove Bernie's mustache? So I'll give y'all a bunch of choices. I'll show you a photo and I'll give you a bunch of choices on what you think the internet came up with on it. Sound good?
Okay.
Starting up. Asking Reddit to remove the flag from behind. What does Reddit do?
Oh,
that flag is straight coming out of his ass.
it
Yep.
really is.
Yep.
Yeah.
He said,
Yeah.
"Can somebody remove the flag from my butt?" And Reddit said, "I'll help you out." What do you think Reddit did? What are your guesses?
I gotta
more
guess. Made him
flags.
a dinosaur.
Made him a
Yeah,
dinosaur. Gotta
absolutely.
be.
Dinosaur's good.
I said,
Jenna,
add
you
more
have a
flags.
guess?
I think added more flags.
All
Yep.
right. Let's see. More flags.
I'm in a Photoshop group or two, and
Yeah.
That's called that's beginner's luck.
the comment section is really where you get the good stuff, right?
Oh,
yeah.
So
Wait,
I'm ready for round 2.
Jenna, who's Daryl Bell? Like, hello, Jenna. Oh yeah, plus everyone else.
Yeah, we were secondary.
You two always are.
Oh.
One big flag.
What website are you on?
I just told you it was
I
Reddit.
did not need to see that.
Oh, wow.
It's early in the morning.
Is that a
Dinosaur.
Buttasaurus?
There you go.
It's a Buttasaurus.
That's a good one.
Remove my boyfriend's hand from my boob, she said.
Oh wait, that's a dude.
Yep.
Wow.
I think tiny hand. Make it a tiny hand.
Yeah.
Cut it
Cut it
off.
off. I hope it's bleeding.
Right, you can't see me on it.
I vote you can't see me on it. That's what I vote for.
I'm hoping for a tiny hand though.
Oh.
Let's see. It says you
Can't
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 see
see
me.
me.
Some
And then I
beginner's
think
luck over here.
also tiny hand.
Oh, oh wow. Oh wow.
Wow.
Remove my arms and the background, he said.
Oh,
What are they
just
gonna make
wants
this cat?
Then what the hell would be holding the cat up?
He wants to use, he told it he wanted to use the outline of his cat to make other memes. And everybody was like, well, I'll make memes of it right
Oh,
now.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I hope he has lightsabers.
Me too.
Have him walking on stilts at a Renaissance fair.
Take him parachuting. I want to see him with a parachute.
Oh, that would fit. Wow.
Jenna, what do you think?
I think parachute.
I think it's a good guess. I think they're all good guesses, honestly.
Oh, look at that.
I think you gave Jenna all the answers before the show.
I might have.
Just
It makes it
that
more fun when everybody else is wrong. Lightsaber.
Lightsabers are adorable.
He said the cat's name is Yoda, and so they gave him green lightsabers.
Aw.
I mean,
That's
the ears
awesome.
say it all.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
It's miserable.
He hates this.
He hates this.
Remove this specific guy
Oh
from my
wow.
family photo. I
Okay.
am pretty sure I had more options than this, but these are your options now.
I like Danny DeVito. I say go
Yeah.
with Danny DeVito.
Yep.
Cover him with a blue alien.
Yeah. Blue
I
alien,
mean, I
Danny
kind of hope to
DeVito.
see that. There it is.
Whoa. This is a family show.
Moving
Well,
on.
it's not, but
Danny DeVito.
Danny DeVito. Love
Danny
it.
DeVito with a watermark.
Yeah. That's the thing about Reddit is everybody that posts like, here's all of your photos. Like, if you want the real photo, here's my fee at the bottom. Here's my link. Otherwise, you're going to get it with the watermark on it. I'm like, well, okay. I mean, I guess it's a way to get your business out there, but it's kind of sleazy.
Mhm.
Now, this is remove. Like, which one's the X?
the X,
Remove
yeah.
my ex.
They just removed Santa because everyone
Yeah.
assumed that woman sitting closest to Santa is going to be the X.
Yeah. Which one is X? All she told us was remove my X from the photo.
Yeah, I
That
would
was
say
I think it's
Let's
funny
remove
that you all
Santa.
assume it's the female,
Yeah.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
true. Santa.
right? Why would it not be the guy saying remove my ex? so
Because
that
he
maybe
looks uncomfortable. He's not even like slid in there. That's why for me.
That's true, but that's the worldly assumption. That's what. If you were asking me what people were thinking right off the bat, I gave what people were thinking right off the bat.
I think it'd be more funny if they just removed one of the kids.
That would be funny.
That would also be funny. I like just scribble over the X in red. I
think that's exactly what's happening.
Let's see.
Yeah.
yeah, scribble over him. He's not
And
there.
I think they did some more. They took out Santa. They're like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Which one of them is the X? And then I think one more.
Oh boy.
Oh,
He's
no.
asked to remove the set.
Oh no. No. It's cold.
Make it smaller. It's cold.
Double it. Yeah, that thing's gonna become monster. Make him a dinosaur though works too. He's got T-Rex pose.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
I think it's gonna almost be like a third party, like comes in with a completely different photo, like Photoshop something on top of it.
Yeah. Final answers.
Make it
What are we
more-
looking at? Final answers.
Well,
Double it.
Make it bigger and double it. That's not the same
Yep.
thing.
Not necessarily.
No, double it. Beats out another
I
one.
guess we're about to find out.
Yeah. Moving on. Doubled it.
Oh,
Oh,
Lord.
so wrong.
I got big
It's
balls.
Oh,
It's cold out. Okay.
They doubled it and made it smaller.
yeah.
Yeah. And then they just removed it completely.
Well, that's no fun.
Yeah.
Which is
that
what he asked for. All right. That's what he asked for. So I mean, at least one person out of everybody that we saw today, they got what they asked for eventually.
Wow.
You know what? I
Man.
think that's a win for the internet. At least one person got what they asked for. when it
There you
came to-
go. Well, had to happen sometime.
Yeah, right.
And now somebody's creating the double ball sack hammock. It's gonna happen.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Lord. All right, Peyton, roll that friggin' welcome footage.
Beautiful
footage.
bean footage.
That
Yeah.
stuff.
You do
Yes.
it every time. Beautiful bean footage coming in.
This is Jenna Hatch, CEO of Project Outsource. Jenna started Project Outsource in April of 2024 and has been climbing ever since. Born from her years of experience in subcontracting work across various industries, Project Outsource seeks to blend the best practices from diverse industries while championing the teamwork makes the dream work mindset. And today, she gets the hot seat with the Success Champions team.
Why was Dennis fixed in that picture? And
I got it. I fixed it that time. I got it. I'm on the ball.
Crushed it.
Oh my God.
oh
What
Lord.
the fuck?
If anybody's looking for a good live stream producer, we know a guy.
I was gonna say, if anybody's looking for a good live stream producer, will you let us know who you find?
Holy.
I love you, Peyton. Just kidding.
The show just like that. That's all
Oh,
it
I
takes.
love it. Leave it just like this.
Peyton, guys, sorry for the late reminder. Peyton's just been fired. So Miss Jenna, welcome to the show, my dear. Thanks for hanging out. Tell us a little bit about you in more detail, and then tell us how we can help you out.
Yeah, well, thanks so much for having me on today. I'm really excited. That was one hell of an opener. Nothing like setting the standard and the bar real high. So just a little bit about me. I'm originally born and raised in New York, Long Island, more specifically. And I like to tell people that New York chewed me up and spat me out. However, what I took from it was hustle, grind, and customer service. I'm one of those people when someone says, what can nobody beat you at? That's usually what I say. I will out hustle you, out grind you, whatever it may be. I'm a true right brain, left brain person. I have a degree in earth science and a minor in dance. So I really love combining. I love math and science, but I also love finding creative ways to do things, right? Kind of like bringing me to where I am today. I am Jill of all trades. I had to take the last part out, the jack of all trades, master of none, right? I had to take that last part out because it got to a point where I would, join up into a new adventure and, ramp up the fastest, crush quotas, do all the things. And I was like, okay, what comes next? Fast forward, turns out that's my ADHD superpower, right? Of like just hyper focusing in on something and wanting to be the best at it and then on to something new. But, over the years, it has shown me that I really do enjoy doing a little bit of everything. And the common thread through everything is wanting to help people. I think you guys would really appreciate this. I had, at one point, I think we all do a little bit of like soul searching. What am I meant to be when I grow up? And I went to school originally for education and dropped the education major halfway through my junior year. And I was working at a med spa when this woman came in with basically tarot cards, but she called them angel cards. I was like, let's play. And so I was like, yeah, sure. It works the same way where you focus your energy into the deck, you're cutting, you're shuffling, and then, ask the deck a question, pull it out. Out of a deck about this thick, we're talking about like 4 or 5 normal card decks. I pick out the one card that says be an educator, and I start bawling, crying. And she's like, what's going on? And I just said, I don't want to be a teacher. And she said, whoa. It doesn't say that. It says be an educator. And at the time I was teaching dance. And she's like, don't you educate youth on the art of dance? And I was like, oh, I guess that's true. And she said, you could be a public speaker. There's so many things you can do. Just make sure there's a component of education in it. And so that for me was like, okay, I can get on board with that. And then enter in a few years later, my very first sales job where, again, I said, nope, not for me. Don't think I can do it. And the manager said, let me change your perspective. It's not about pushing something on somebody that they don't want. It is, how does this product or service or membership, like you fill in the blank, how is it going to benefit this person's life? So I said, okay, you got me on board. And that was kind of it. That's really what brought me full circle to like the person that I am, what I value, how I go about interacting with people. It's the education component mixed with sales. And that's my favorite place to be. So I've kind of just like applied that through every opportunity I've had in life. And I don't know if you guys are familiar in 2022 in the tech industry, it was like, everyone was hiring and then everyone was firing. Mm-hmm. And I was one of those lucky people. I decided to make like a career change from writing P&C insurance into the tech world. And my number was up after like 4 rounds, something like that. It made it a whopping 8 months. And it gave me enough pause to stop and think, okay, like really, what do I want to do moving forward? And the common theme was like a business advisor. So I started applying to be a business advisor. I got linked up with this Australian outsourcing company. And it wasn't so much as a business advisor role as it was a sales position, which I wasn't fully mad at, right? Because I love that. But I think there's a common theme with me throughout my entire life, which is I'm never trying to reinvent the wheel, but I feel like there's always a bigger and better way to do things, right? So as I was in this outsourcing company, I just realized that the VA business is super transactional. It's just, I want someone to do tasks like, make social media content, go through my QuickBooks, do this. And it's very impersonal, right? It's just very impersonal. And so I figured, it's Machiavelli who said it's better to be feared than loved. And I found that to be very backwards. If you are loved and respected by your peers, your employees, again, whatever position you fall into, when you say jump, they say, how high, how many times do you want me to add a cartwheel in there? Right. And so for me, it made more sense to build a relationship with your virtual assistant because that person is then a trusted partner who is equally as invested in your success as you are. So that was kind of my vision. That's where I am, full circle where I am today. Open Project Outsource, officially launched in April of this year. And we're doing really well, but there's never any sort of dull moment when, you start your own business, right? So I'm extremely excited to be in the hot seat today because I've come prepared with a couple of different things. So I think you guys are literal network geniuses, and I'm excited to get your feedback. So yeah, that brings me kind of full circle. And I guess, do you want me to start with the first question? The first
Let's
thing.
do it.
Sure.
Okay. So let's start small. I have ideas in my head because I always have ideas in my head, but I'm really struggling on specifically who I should be targeting. And I'll tell you why. It's, if you're an entrepreneur, everyone could use help, right? I mean, I was in insurance at one point. So you throw a rock and you can, hit somebody who drives something or lives under something. So I understand, really needing to narrow down is the key. And I've narrowed it down to solo entrepreneurs, but that's still a really wide net. One of the things that I've recently done is create a partnership with somebody who teaches classes by creating this punch card system where I can keep up their attendance while the people who attend also are banking some free VA hours. That seems to be working very well, but that's just one avenue. And again, we kind of all know we want multiple channels. So I'll start there. Really, who do you think I should be targeting with a VA business?
So first question I have is, why solopreneurs of all targets to go after?
That's a great question. So it comes from personal experience, right? It's one of those things where as I started, I really had no idea what I was doing. And when I got synced up with my personal assistant, Carmela, it really took me from 0 to 10 so much faster than me being able to do it on my own. Further, to add to that, for the longest time, I had it backwards in my head. I kept saying, I've been trying to come up with a new specialized trademark for VAs, right? Something that no one's come up with before. And I kept saying every solo entrepreneur needs a blank. Batman has Robin. This person has a sidekick. Who's the sidekick? Until I had a conversation with somebody that said, I'm looking for the Alfred to my Batman or the Mrs. Potts to my Tony Stark, which made me think, of course, I had it backwards this whole time. Batman doesn't need Robin. Who needs Robin? No one, right? It's Alfred that Batman needs. And so I started thinking about the person that makes it all possible for the business owner, right? So that's why I wanted to focus in on that. It's from personal experience. It's,
Let me ask a different question. What's the end game with your company? What are you trying to build here?
That is a very big question. So the end game is being the company that people who are looking to start up a business with, they know that they have a trusted partner, a trusted advisor that can help them grow and scale their business.
Okay.
Or do you mean personal goals?
No, that's fine. That's fine. That's a good answer. Do you realize you're targeting the brokest people on the planet?
I do.
I was gonna say the one thing that you had as a solo entrepreneur that most of them don't have is money.
Mhm.
You can afford to do that. Most people can't.
Most people can't.
I have thought about that, and I have thought about other ways. Okay, so another example, because having a VA business, I make my money off of the margin, right? So basically, I'm doing the recruiting, I'm sifting through the BS for you, right? So how do I increase my margin and make this work? So I've come up with other things such as a VA internship, where we have people who are in the Philippines, aspiring VAs that don't have the experience. It's a paid internship, but it's paid at X amount of rate during the first 3 months of their internship, maximizing my margin there. And then once they've kind of graduated through this program, then they, get their pay doubled to what I pay my VAs normally. In which case it's creating a bigger buffer in the beginning. So that's just one idea.
But that doesn't change you targeting broke people.
Well, and that makes you more money, but they still got to pay the same rate. So
They
that
do.
doesn't.
So I talked to a gentleman last week. They're an outsourcing company. Their last deal was $275,000 because they're outsourcing entire call centers.
Mm-hmm.
What goes through your mind when you hear that versus targeting solopreneurs?
So what I write on my website and what I have in like my pitch decks and all the things is we try not to be cookie cutter, but we can be if that's what you need. Okay. So essentially here comes like, right, here comes the, who am I really like targeting? Who am I supposed to target? Because I can have multiple products, right? Like you have your VA, but we can also do call center. Currently my biggest client is medical billing. Okay. It's got like 4 people through us. So it doesn't, that's kind of the biggest issue. The overlying issue is I can do this in any industry. I could do this with call center.
All right, cool. So the medical billing company, let's start
Right.
there. What are you doing for them?
So basically they have just hired people who are coding. So it's an ambulance company. So they're making sure they have the correct codes, working with the insurance company and processing the claims.
And how many people are they outsourcing through you?
4.
Why are you targeting solopreneurs?
Currently targeting solopreneurs because in order to target the big call centers, I will also tell you, again, I've done my research. I have about 75 plus RFPs, requests for proposals. And these are government, like water for the state, for the city. I'm not at capacity yet to be able to go after those. So that there's also like
What do you mean you're not at capacity?
manpower. Like there's
But if you landed, how big is one of those contracts?
it could be 2 to 5 years long.
Cool. And revenue wise, how much would that be to your company if you landed one of those contracts?
Off the top of my head, I can't remember.
So
we were just kind of going through it, but
100 grand, just to throw a number out there.
yes,
So if you were handed 100 grand, how long would it take you to find the people to fill the spots?
we can make it happen.
I want you to say that again and really think about what you just said.
Dots have not quite connected yet.
I've talked with Alex or Becky about this one too. Okay. I've talked to Alex, talked to another one of my friends about creating these RFPs and so the length of time between doing the work and when that will actually be rewarded also is the time that it would take. It's like a long, very long sales process where I need to also make sure that, small victories add to large victories. So there's a reason why we put that on the back burner, because it's like, it's not instant money that I'm going to get tomorrow. It's not a signed contract that I'm going to get tomorrow. Mm-hmm. So it's definitely an end game thing. I've thought about all the things, but it's like currently we aren't there yet. And I need to get a different mode of revenue, a different stream of revenue coming in first.
So I had a friend once upon a time that landed $1 million government contract, right? Asshole puckered everything. They needed a $40,000 insurance policy to be able to actually accept that contract. Mm-hmm. Right? They didn't have $40,000 sitting in the bank. You know what they did? They called every family member, friend, everybody they could fucking think of to come up with the $40,000 and paid back with 10% interest after they won the contract.
Yeah.
Right? When there's enough will, we'll figure it out most times. Mm-hmm. So at least go after one of those RFPs.
Yeah.
Right?
Agreed.
Right? You throw your hat in the ring once. I mean, the mere things you will learn just going after the RFP, even one, will blow you away and prepare you if you want to make that a thing you do in the future.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm huge on the knowledge side of things.
Yeah.
Right. Second thing to think about is get out of government contracting. What other call centers and the likes, need outsourcing?
Yeah.
Well, you've already got the one ambulance company. What about the rest?
Right. Like target. Do I want to target my marketing to like specifically to ambulance companies right?
Absolutely.
So I did, there was a clinical trial one that was looking for at least 10 people. And I made it to the like final rounds of their interviews because like I said, I tried to think outside the box, and the way that I applied, because I had no idea what an RFP was at the time, but they were looking for people to enroll, warm leads. People had already applied into these clinical trials. So what I had done was I did a Zoom call with my VA because most of the time, the number one thing people are concerned about is accent, right? And so I did a recorded Zoom call, a script about a clinical trial. Thank you, ChatGPT. And we went back and forth. I sent it in. I basically got to like the top 5 candidates. And then when I, got on Zoom as they were interviewing me, the first thing they said was, "So tell me about your org chart." And I was like, "You're looking at it." And they're like, "Oh, we want to work with a bigger company." And I said, "I would encourage you to flip your mindset, because being a smaller company, I'm going to have a lot more time to dedicate to make sure that your operations are running smoothly. You already saw that I go above and beyond more than any of the other companies that you tried. And ultimately, I was just too small and didn't get that contract."
Yeah, that's going to happen a lot, Jenna, because I chase after government projects as well for learning and development. And I will say that the RFP process is fucking ridiculous because there are no 2 RFPs that are written the exact same. You might have the same project at 2 different government entities, and one RFP is 100 pages and the other one is 4.
Yep.
It's absolutely ridiculous. But government has money. Even if they don't have money, they will print more so that they can do the stuff. So
true.
So, it is a worthwhile game, and it is a long game, obviously. And sometimes they have net terms that are not ideal, 60, 90, 120 days sometimes to get paid. But to Donnie's point earlier, if you can get $1 million contract, a lot of times you can find funding, short-term funding. Yes, thanks, Peyton. You can find short-term funding so that you can start generating that revenue and then pay that off. And then after that, it's all revenue. Right. But, and actually kudos to you, Peyton, for putting it in the chat earlier. The medical billing side of it, if you've already got a wheel that turns, you're already doing that work and doing it well, why wouldn't you target more of those? Literally every city in the entire nation has 3 to 5 or more ambulance companies.
Yeah.
Every city.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the org chart's actually an easy fix. You outsource people.
Yeah.
Make an org chart.
Yeah. When they ask me how many people I have, I say I have 2,000 people in my network. And that's the end of that question.
I like that.
Yeah. I have a team of 8. None of them are full-time. I'm the only one full-time. Everybody's fractional. Everybody's by the hour, but nobody asks that. But when I say what size I am, right, I have a team of 8.
I love that. Yes.
Right. So don't think that you have to give them the answer. Like we think that we need to be bigger, right? And I get that when we're a solopreneur, but at the same time, all of us as solopreneurs aren't solopreneurs. We all have people that help us. We all have people who chip in, whether you're paying them or not. So none of us truly are doing it alone. There's always somebody else. So don't feel like you have to say that. You're bigger than you think.
It's the white lie. I'm not lying.
No,
I do have this team, right?
Yeah.
And I do. So I actually really like that perspective too.
Yeah. Well, and you also have your SEN chapter too. So you got, let me tell you about Peyton, who's my live stream guy. Let me tell you about John, who's my IT guy, right? You have other people that you can list as part of that process.
Fantastic.
I mean, that's the beauty of outsourcing and working on a fractional model is you bring people in when you need them. And, if they're a smart organization that you're trying to do business with, they'll understand the value of keeping your overhead low and only bringing in the right resources that are specifically capable of doing the job that they're being asked to do. There's a lot of value in that. So don't short.
And by the way, I never say I on a sales call. I always say we.
That's not true. It's all about Stevie. Don't let her fool you.
Well, now that actually is the case. But no, so I did, like Bernie, I did a lot of government contracts when I first started my business. And I had the same issue. They were like, well, tell us about your team. Tell us about like your organization. And I just learned that if I just always said we, they just assumed I had more people. And I just let them assume that.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, and so I never, to this day, I still, when I'm talking to people, I will say my team, the team, we do this, right? Even if sometimes it really is just me, myself, and I, but those are 3 distinct personalities in my brain. So technically it is the team. But I think sometimes we as entrepreneurs sell ourselves short by when we're first starting out, talking about how it's just me, because we think that's awesome. Other companies find that to be risky.
Mm-hmm.
So when you start changing that language to we and team, even if your team includes your dog, nobody needs to know that. But when you change that language, people look at you differently.
Yes.
And that really is a thing. If you're going after those bigger contracts, that is a thing that you have to think about.
And my biggest thing out of all this is quit going after the solopreneurs.
Yes.
Or at least put a qualifier in there, right? They've got to be in business 5 to 7 years.
There you go. Yeah, at least put something in there to help you. Yeah.
Because just like there's a delay in the RFP, there's a delay in actually finding a client that can actually pay you something when you're dealing with solopreneurs.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the qualifier.
Well, and also just because and I think this is true for all business owners, just because we know we have something other people need doesn't mean they want it. And people only buy things they want. They really don't buy things they need. If we did, we would all eat salads and be healthier. We don't do that. We do things that we want. So if just because you think, well, I know that this would help an entrepreneur and they need this, if they don't feel that they want that, they're not paying for it.
For sure.
Wow.
So I think we kicked that can down the road. What's your other questions there, Jenna?
Okay. So
She's like, all my other questions went with that one. So I have to.
So I have the solopreneur I'm talking to.
So actually, I think you guys will really like this one. So recently, so about 2 months ago, I was chosen to pitch for a networking group. And then 2 days prior was told, you land in a different category and you can't pitch anymore. And I was like, wait a damn second. And so it was basically like, oh, we have founders and we have service providers, and you fall under the category of service provider, because founders are people who disrupt their industry and change the way that things are going to be done. And I was like, cringe, but okay, that's fine. Let's talk about it. So the part that they said that I was missing was scalability. And to give an example, the last round of pitching, there was a cleaning service that pitched. And so before, as I was on the phone with this person, I said, please tell me the difference between the cleaning provider being a founder, not a service provider, and me. And they kind of jumped in and said, well, the cleaning service being an app is extremely scalable. You're going to have laundromats that are going to want to get in on it. You're going to have drivers, kind of like Uber Eats or DoorDash, that are going to want to get in on it. And so I understood what they were talking about as far as scalability, which got my wheels turning about how I can potentially make this scalable. But my question to you guys is, off the bat, in a VA company, do you think that there is a way to almost like check that box to make it scalable?
So how do you not see it being scalable?
How do they not see it?
I mean, that's the golden question, right? Like, I just figured, again, call centers. I mean, there are going to be plenty of people, but I think maybe where their mindset was at was more for like investors.
Well, I think where their mindset is more the disruption, right? Because with the cleaning app, now you've got, if you're picking up somebody's laundry at their house and taking it and cleaning, right now, it's a disruption to the marketplace. Where the VA side of things, you're not really disrupting the industry. You are growable. Like, you can grow a really big customer-centric basis company, but the difference between a growing company and a scaling company is growth is what people naturally do over time. Scale is you jump from 100,000 to 100 million, but you don't increase the cost of doing business. That's what scaling actually means.
Okay.
So most businesses truly aren't scalable in nature. They're not going to make the big leap because it usually takes some sort of disruption or something that's out of the box to really cause that scale. So my question back to you is what is it that you're potentially disrupting, or what makes you a scalable business versus another call center outsourcing company?
Sure. So that's when they said that, I got my wheels turning. And so I'm thinking about, one of the things, if you guys have seen like my series, the VAA, it's meant to be a comedic relief about, people who have had terrible experiences with VAs. And as I was talking to them, the woman had said, I found my VA. I literally loved her. And then she got pregnant and she was supposed to be there with me for life. And this is something that happens. I tell people going into it, people will be people no matter where you hire from. So just keep that in mind. So what got my wheels turning was what happens when that person exits? Is there a better way to do it? So what I came up with was integration to automation. So I'm hoping to create this other part now, which would be the scalable part. We're integrating somebody into your business, and what should happen, all the theories, because this is brand new, which is how do we start automating what this specific person does so that moving forward, if they're not with you for life, but I don't know if you guys have seen character.io. It's the second largest AI website right now, but like they literally create avatars. You can literally scan your face, right? And have a conversation with this person. So I'm just thinking the scalable part of it needs to be integrating to automating so that if that person leaves, you are not left high and dry. That to me is going to be the scalable part.
Let me ask you something, Jenna. As far as your process with integrating these VAs, are you guys helping and supporting with documentation and SOPs? Because as long as you're doing that, bringing in a new body to do the work that has the skill sets really shouldn't be an issue.
Yeah, no, and we are documenting. I mean, that's part of one of the products that I have, one of the programs, which is like a 90-day program where, we do a deep dive into their business, go over, everything we all kind of do as business owners, right? Like the pain points, short-term, long-term goals, coming up with a 90-day plan, executing that plan. I've limited it to 5 people per month because it's a very intensive process where we're also going to help them build their SOPs and at least just document it. Like we're not making it pretty or anything. No one's paying us for that. But
I think the automation side is putting you out of business. Because if you're an outsourcing company and then you're going to replace the outsourcing with an automation, why do they need you after that?
Yeah. Well, and I was thinking that, like, number one, then you won't be able to employ people anymore because you will have worked them all out of a job. But then also, are you a VA or are you an outsourcer, and what's the difference?
I'm an outsourcer. I own the company. So I'm not a virtual assistant. I'm not basically doing the work.
Not you, but your business. I hear you use the words a lot.
Interchangeably almost.
Interchangeably. People don't think those are interchangeable.
Okay, how so? Are you saying like they think virtual assistant is literally like a chat bot?
Well, no, I would say remove the word virtual assistant from your vocabulary altogether.
Yes, there it is.
Right? Because you're trying to say I outsource VAs.
Yeah.
They're hearing virtual assistant. They're not hearing.
They're not hearing. Yes. I keep getting confused on what it is you're doing.
Because when I think virtual assistant, I think of the solopreneur who needs to hire somebody to do Canva graphics, right?
Yes. Right.
Outsourcing is scale, right? It's you're outsourcing for multiple people.
Multiple roles at one time. I'm not just looking for one person to do everything. I'm not looking. And that's where I was getting a little confused because you talk about the Alfred to your Batman, which to me is a virtual assistant who does everything, right? One human body. And you're talking about making a connection with them. So when they get pregnant and they have to leave, that's a problem. But that's not scalable. That's one human body at a time for one person.
Right.
But then I hear you talk about like outsourcing and call centers and the medical billing thing you're doing. That's not virtual assistants. That's different. So I'm just, for me, as somebody who's new to you, we just met this morning. I don't know anything about you or your business. I find it hard to follow what you're actually trying to do. Because in your language, it goes back and forth from VA to outsourcing. I understand you're not the VA. I get that part. But what service are you providing to people? I think that's one thing. If you're talking virtual assistant, you're going to get very different marketing and very different people than if you're talking outsourcing.
And it's very true. And I agree with what you're saying. And I think that literally brings us full circle, like to my very first question, right? Which is, yeah, I absolutely want to get the call center. If you think I don't want to get the call center and like ride off into the sunset, I absolutely want to grab that, right? And it's like, it literally brings us full circle to question one of like, who do I really focus on targeting? Because I have the product for this solo entrepreneur and I can be cookie cutter if I want to. So yeah, everyone's absolutely right, because that's the turmoil that's in my brain.
Yeah.
So here's a great thing about sales is if you get good at prospecting, customer, call center work can be, instantly paying.
Yeah.
Right? Because all we got to do in sales most times is find the person who's looking for it right now.
Yep.
Right. And that takes the ability of having enough conversations, getting into enough calls, talking to enough people to where somebody goes, oh my God, we're actually looking right now, which happens.
Yes.
As long as we're putting ourselves out there. I think in your head, you are potentially going for the safe route. And that's what a lot of people do. The safe route is, well, I talk to solopreneurs every day, right? So I should be talking to them about my services. But every time you do that, you take away from the bigger business you could be going after because it's easier, it's safe, it's the bigger play. What you should be doing is using those solopreneurs to go, hey, I'm actually looking for companies that are looking for outsourcing, and had changed those conversations from I can help you to who do you actually know that you can get me introduced to.
Yeah, going to and that was another thing that I wanted to unpack a little bit more, but we are getting close to time too. But your whole triangle, triangle networking, right? And how can I introduce this person? I have a hard time imagining myself on there and who I can target to.
So, well, let's put the ambulance in the center, right? The ambulance company, they got 4 people that you're outsourcing. Who else needs a company of that size? Like how many, employees does that company to have altogether? The ambulance company.
I know that because it's a franchise. So hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They only have like 10 in total.
Wait, it's a franchise. How many franchises do they have?
There you go. Yeah. They should target the other ones. Yep.
Yeah, 100%. That is the
Yeah,
lowest hanging fruit.
you're already in.
Right there. That's your wheelhouse right there.
Look it up right now.
Right. But that's what happens to us all. We get so into the weeds of the things that we don't step back and go, shit, all right, this is a franchise. How many franchisors or franchisees are there? Right. What's the next competitor of theirs? Are they a franchise? Let's go after all them too.
Yep.
Right.
Well, and then you start thinking, right, even bigger, right? Kind of mind mapping that out. What other franchises need some kind of outsourcing done for them? And because if you can get in with the franchise, you're set, right? Because then they'll just give you to all of their franchises and then you're set for money and life, right? So like it's now that you know what you're targeting, like how do you hit that harder? And how do you find the people that are going to know people in those industries to help you out?
Right.
Yeah. And like, does that franchisee or the overall company, the actual franchisor, do they do a yearly get together with all their franchisees? Can you set up a booth there?
Yeah.
Right.
Conference, expo, get on stage there.
And then now you start changing it up and go, guys, I'm actually looking for people who run franchisees. Here's the parameter. Right. They're going to have X amount of employees, right? And they're going to have employees that are in these particular roles.
Yes. The qualifiers.
Right? Yep. Right. So I'm curious for the ambulance company, what roles are you actually outsourcing for them?
It's just the medical billing side. So again, like they get this whole list of basically transactions, right? And they have to code it. So there's like a whole list of what the codes are. And then they submit it to the insurance companies that will either pay them out, deny the claim, whatever. And if the claim is denied, they need to then follow up the insurance company. Why was it denied? What do we have to change to get it to go through? So that's what we're doing.
100%. That's what you need to think about is now you figure out, okay, what other franchisees are actually involved in medical billing.
Yep.
Agreed.
'Cause there's a lot more than just ambulances.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I would think skill sets, right? Because there are a lot of different potential outsource opportunities out there leveraging the very same skill sets of a VA, right? So
Yeah.
expand your thinking a little bit. How can you leverage those very same people, those very same skills into other areas as well? Because it's infinite.
Yeah, I love these ideas.
So,
I
and
would also say, Jenna, are you coming to Summit?
I am.
Okay. So on Wednesday, if you're an SEM member, we're doing a whole activity all about what we're talking about right now that would give you all the clarity you need on this.
Wonderful.
Wait, Wednesday's all about medical coding?
yes.
Yes, because it's money is Keith, and that's what we're all about. showing
And
people
Bernie's
how to
teaching it, so it'll be great.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, definitely be there because that's exactly what we're going to be talking about, and it will
I'll be
so
there.
help you. Yeah.
It's funny, Jenna, talking about these ambulance companies. Do you guys happen to know who the largest ambulance company here in the United States is?
No.
Yellow.
Yellow Cab?
Just like Yellow Cab Company. They're also the largest ambulance company, and their motto is one way or another, we're going to give you a ride.
Oh,
I love
geez.
that.
Their corporate office is in
They also
Louisville,
run the
Kentucky.
largest hearse company too. I mean, that would be the
that would be kind of funny. So, but yeah, the largest taxi company in the United States actually owns the largest ambulance service. So you might go to LinkedIn, look up Yellow, and find corporate escapees that have left and started their own company, and see if you can partner with them.
Yeah, love that.
right.
It's
And
definitely my wheels turning too.
Yeah, and I think we all do it from time to time. We end up playing safe versus going after what we know is the payday. We end up thinking and focus on who's right in front of us. What can we do with them versus going, right? What if I were to go after bigger, right? And like so it's a pretty big shift. But we've covered a lot of stuff today for you, Jenna. I'm really curious to kind of get some of your takeaways, thoughts from this whole process. What are you going to do from here?
Yeah. Everyone, thank you so much for great advice. Ultimately, I think you guys are absolutely right. There are a lot of bigger opportunities that I can go after, and it's just about crafting. I make a joke about it, but it's true. And Donnie, you said it in the beginning. It's like, I just need that one bout of dumb luck, right? Like I just have to be in the right place at the right time, but also let's add some, oh my God, what is the word as I'm blanking right now? We want it to be mindful of who we're going after as well, right? But putting myself in the rooms with the bigger people, making the right connections, just really putting myself out there. But also, you've given me a lot to think about going after the franchises as well. And in my last job, I did have a franchise opportunity that the ball was dropped. And now that I have my own business, what's stopping me from reaching back out to that franchise and being like,
Absolutely.
ball was dropped over here, but I'm doing my own thing now. So let's give it a shot, right? What's the worst case scenario? They say no. I'm right back in the same spot, right? So I'm definitely going to focus my efforts on that in the next coming, days and weeks and see what happens. Fingers crossed. But yeah, this was really insightful because I feel like it gave me a different way. Workshopping always gives me different ways of thinking of things. Yeah. So, and even someone just said, who just said about the headquarters, where the headquarters are located?
It was me. I'm sure it was. It sounds brilliant. So,
but basically, I mean, that's what I had to do with my insurance job when I knew that everybody and their mom was doing the same thing that I was doing, right? Like, how do I set myself apart? And so I came up with a couple of ideas back then, and now maybe I should start targeting places where they're going to have headquarters in Austin and the surrounding area, so I can get in front of the people, right? It's one thing to send an email; it's another thing to show up at their door.
100%.
So,
100%.
Jenna, I would encourage you to chase those RFPs too. I mean, they a lot of money out there, and it's paperwork, but once you get it and you become a preferred vendor for the government, you're in.
Yeah. Well, I'll talk more about that with you, Bernie. I know we've got a meeting set.
Yep.
I think it's another reason why I haven't gone for it is because I just don't know. And it's, if I could even get a sliver of information from someone who does know, it would definitely make me more confident to go after it. So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Look forward to it.
Talking about the comments real quick. Daryl Bell, Peyton Childers doesn't know his ass from a hole in the wall. Yes, we charge for guests on here, so let us know how much money you have.
Yeah.
More than happy to get you a spot.
Bidding starts at 10,000.
Yeah.
And it goes up from there.
Peyton, good Lord.
Jeez, Peyton.
What are you doing,
Just
man?
throwing money away. Daryl wants to give his money. Take the guy's money. Daryl, seriously, man,
Jenna.
thank you for hanging out all day and chatting along with us. So really appreciate it.
it's been awesome.
Let's talk about upcoming events. What do you guys got? What's coming down? I know.
There's only one event we have to talk about, right? I mean, it's
Yeah.
next week.
The biggest event of all.
Oh, next week it hits Badass Business Summit. It's going to be insane. Hotel rooms, I believe, are officially sold out. We only have a few tickets left for this. I think VIP sold out at this point. So pretty insane. This will be the biggest attended summit we've had to date. So we're really looking forward to it. But there are a few tickets left. If you guys want to come see this huge LinkedIn get together, SCN get together, want to get on more stages, more podcasts and the likes. And why are people showing up with 4 minutes left, 3 minutes left? Now all the people are flooding in. So,
Well, they're going to have to
Or
catch
if you
the
just want to
replay.
come to the summit to get an autographed 8x10 of myself, that's reaching enough right there.
wow.
I already got one signed for Stevie. She'll get it when she gets there.
Oh, I can't wait.
Okay, I have a new favorite TikTok. I don't know the channel, but what they do is they go up to all these pro athletes and they're like, "Hey, will you sign my picture?" But they've gone through like their Facebook and stuff and found like the worst little kid picture of them.
Oh,
And
it's
you
so
should
cute.
see these people just lose their shit. They're like, "Oh my God, where did you find this picture?" Some
That's
people
awesome.
take them
That's a
and
great
rip
idea.
them up and like,
So
"Oh, it's great."
Yeah, love it.
So, but
Well,
cheers
Stevie, you
to
may
the-
not want to talk about your event, but I'm going to talk about my 5 events that I've got this week, just really, really quick. That's all right.
You see how big
So-
his eyes got?
Like,
So
wait,
moving
wait a
on to
minute. So I've got 2 events actually tomorrow. One is with my buddy Stu James. He's running an event called Boost Your Online Presence in 90 Days, really all about digital marketing. Journey Toward a Healthy Lifestyle with Kate Meyer. That's tonight at 7 p.m. Then I've got a gentleman by the name of Crowker Duraney, who's introducing a new product to the marketplace, kind of to go up against the Apple AirTag. It's called a micro tag. It's all about loss prevention. So definitely recommend that one. That's tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern.
That's
And
a
then on
Crowker.
Wednesday, yeah, that's his name, Crowker Duraney. Really cool guy. Never heard the name before. And then on the 11th, I've got Disruptor Discussions with Jennifer Fry, brings in a disruptor within the industry to talk something about business. And then also at Thursday at 1 p.m., Gerard Training Solutions. Why don't people do what they're supposed to? Coaching and feedback methods to build trust. So hope to see you guys around.
Too bad you're not busy.
Basically, Bernie's
Yeah,
doing
no,
all
no.
these events this week because he's with us at Summit next week. So we had to get them all in.
Had to get them all in.
That's where he's at.
Next time, can you do it like the Micro Machines guy and like really fast and like just rip through them? I mean,
I probably do it faster. Yeah.
so
Very cool.
that's awesome. So, but yeah, guys, we do this every Monday, 8 a.m. Central. Jenna, thanks for hanging out with us today. We always
Yeah,
put
thank
somebody in a hot seat trying to help them grow their businesses. And, you know, Jenna only cried once, so it was good. You know,
No, I'm gonna go cry afterwards.
oh, got it. We send SEN Kleenex box to you. It's already branded and everything, so you
Oh
should
my
be good to
gosh.
go.
Heard the door.
But we'll be here next Monday, guys, live and crazy. It's Summit Week next week, so it should get really pretty crazy. So, but see you guys next week. Love you, mean it. See you. Bye.